missed you, I know it's getting dangerous, it's cold, I fuck
Welcome. It's been a little bit of time. I gotta check all these audio settings and everything. Reminder to drink your water. I think it's okay. And yeah, my hair is not done. Not gonna lie, just got out of bed and I've been sitting here all day trading. So right into the stream. What's going on? It's been some time. What's up, Mr. Robinson? I repair D and KTF in the chat. AK, what's up? How you doing? And yeah, right now the market is red. It's down. I think a large part of that is due to Google being down 8% today. This was a swing that thankfully hit all targets. And some lag right now. I'm not sure why. That thankfully hit all targets before pulling back like it is right now. Let's see if there's anything over here. I'm seeing a ton of different news. We've got this. Okay. Then we've also got this. And a lot of AI stuff, a lot of news coming out. Again, you know, I'm not really here to stream to talk about news, but obviously that's what's moving it. Just going to be talking about the chart right now. Currently back under $100, which is a pretty important level. A lot of historical resistance here and stuff like that, previous support from the past. So that is a big level that Google is currently back under. Really, I don't know what happened. I went live and it's just lagging quite a bit, but yeah, right now it's just kind of testing this little 98 support. You can see it was support back over here about a week ago, last Wednesday. It was a previous resistance from the past as well, so that's a pretty important level. And that's really kind of what's the main thing going on in the market right now. Amazon's down a couple percent, but most other names are kind of flat. And yeah, let's get started with the normal rundown. Just really quickly, what's going on with crypto. Bitcoin, not the best, kind of rolling over a little bit on the daily time frame, and on the 4 hours actually testing a breakdown from this ascending triangle. So I think if this does play out, the next level of support's around 21.6k, because that used to be resistance over here, was almost resistance here, and was kind of resistance here as well. Going back up to the daily time frame, you could maybe also draw a little bit of a pattern here, like a little bit of a triangle. Technically it would be a bullish pennant, but all that really matters is which way it breaks. So I don't know, it's kind of at the apex of that. Maybe you get a large move soon in either direction, because it has been consolidating for almost 3 weeks now. Then we have Ethereum, which is a little bit different. It actually had this triangle that I drew out before, and it kind of broke out of it and back tested it. But right now I'm just going to redraw this to kind of like an upsloping flag, kind of like that. So 1700 is still resistance. Again, both of those were crypto swings that already hit targets, not a big deal. Quick look into other markets. Let me just take a look at the SPY really quickly, around the same price. The US 10-year is breaking out of this wedge after kind of triple bottoming at 3.4% and holding the 200-day moving average. It developed a bullish hammer candle off of that and then got a bullish engulfing candle for fall through price action. Crude oil kind of bouncing again off 72.5 for the third time now, breaking back outside of this downsloping channel, but 81.50 is still a big resistance. Energy, let's take a look at that. Rejected the breakout of this cup and handle. For right now, I'd say it's just in a range between like 82 points or 83 and 93. A little bit of a 10-point range for the XLE fund right now. Then we have got gold, which we talked about this not too long ago, this little bearish engulfing breakdown candle. It did get fall through price action right down to the next level at 1876. Silver also was in a range. It broke down from that. Now it's testing a previous high from last November, even though this was also a support from like 2021 as a support. The dollar currency index is broken out of this wedge, tested 103.86 as a resistance. You can see that this was a support from last June. And then finally for Chinese stocks, the Hang Seng Index is kind of testing a breakdown from this rising wedge. It's been a really good run since last November. It kind of went right up to this resistance zone, and now it's been pulling back ever since. So that is what's going on in other markets. Just a quick, not a quick look at the spot. We're going to take some time to look at this, but on low time frames, to start with that really quickly. Intraday, the SPY, in my opinion, is breaking down from the spare flag. It even back tested it, flipped this demand line into a supply line. Kind of the same thing for the QQQ. A little bit of a bear flag developed. I actually did alert QQQ calls in premium, like somewhere over here. They ran about 70%, ran up to about the VWAP, and now it's been pulling back, but it was a pretty solid trade. But on this 5-minute candle, starting to get a little bit of a bounce. We'll get back to that. Let's start off with what's going on the higher time frames. If you saw the title of the stream, this is a very critical area. What the market is trying to do right now is flip this previous resistance into a support. That is what we are watching. We had a strong day yesterday. It really was largely due to Powell speaking about interest rates and inflation. And you had a bullish engulfing yesterday. Today it's been an inside day so far, kind of choppy price action, but pretty interesting moves. You had like a pretty rough sell-off in the morning, then got a little bit of a bounce. Now you're kind of pulling back again. But this is the big thing right over here. Can we maintain above this inflection zone between 406 and 411? You're above it for right now, and you really want to stay above it. If you can't hold that, I did see Cheddar Freeze also tweet this out. You can start drawing out these upsloping channels, and then this will be the bearish scenario. Let's say you can't hold this inflection zone, and you broke it. You would also at the same time be breaking this upsloping channel the market has been in really since the beginning of the year. All right, so this is kind of your inflection point. You got an inflection zone. Over the next few days, 2 weeks, we will see how we react to this level. Honestly, it's better to be testing above it because you're using it as support rather than being below it like we were over here. So I think the overall edge is still geared towards bulls. The trend is still your friend. Volume is surprisingly holding up compared to a lot of other rallies in the past year, where when you started going up in the market, volume started dropping. So we're still just testing these levels on the 4-hour chart. It'll load. This cup and handle I was talking about for a long time, you actually back tested the neckline and bounced off of it yesterday, which is good. So that's maybe a potential support if we drop back down into it. Let's move over to the QQQ. All right, so the Qs are kind of sandwiched in between two zones. You got this support zone from like 298 to 303, and then a resistance zone from 314 to 320. And you can see historically those are some pretty important zones, a lot of highs and lows there, and you're just right in between them. It makes quite a bit of sense, honestly, why you're in between them. So this one, it's really which way do you break out of first. There's a bullish and a bearish scenario. At some point you're going to break one of them, but in between it's hard. That's why I've kind of stopped putting out swings for a little bit, even though we had a great round of swings last month, and I've kind of just gone back to day trading this week. If you're in premium, we are currently 3 for 4 on option alerts so far. And like the 3 winners were pretty good, almost 100% on all of them. And then the 1 loser was like 25% or something. But this is really what's going on in between levels. The ARKK ETF is heading back down towards the 200-day moving average. It actually on the 1 hour did have, a lot of the indices did have these bull flags that you kind of did break out of yesterday, and you already started seeing the fall through price action when Powell was speaking. So it's a little bit confusing. It's like, are we dropping back down to back test these bull flags and then go higher, or is the move from them already over? Because a lot of them already made the common retrace, which is around your 50% to 618 retrace. I mean, the SPY itself almost matched the high, actually. We look at this wedge over here, it almost got back up to the highs. So you already got pretty good moves from most of those. The Russell 2000 is still above 188. I think that's a very important zone. A lot of highs and lows here, but starting to pull back as well. Again, start drawing out those demand lines. We're still above them for right now. We really want to maintain above them for as long as possible. You're probably not going to be able to hold them forever. But you're still okay for right now. We haven't broken down from anything. As of right now, all this is a simple pullback, or hoping it just stays like that, because it could become something a lot more. But we'll get there when we get there, if we get there, or when we get there. And then we have the VIX finally, which it was close. It was trying to break under this bear market support throughout the entirety of this bear market. Around $19 has been the major support. It was testing it, and now it's actually fighting to get back above it. I think I saw somebody, might have been AK, post this in the Discord earlier, and now you've got like a little bit of a wedge here that's testing a breakout too. So that's not a great equation when we're talking about the market being at a very big make or break area. The VIX being in a falling wedge, kind of still actually above support. It's a little bit interesting. So that's really what's going on in the market right now on higher time frames back to lower time frames now. By the way, there is a 20-second delay because I can't stream real-time data. You are kind of pulling back again. You've just been in this range between like 411 and 411.5 for the past half an hour on the SPY. So you're kind of towards the bottom of that range. Again, you are broken down. If this clears, you might go down to retest the low of the day. We will see. Make sure to hit the like button if you didn't already. Hit that subscribe button as well. Dustin says, are these lives post after the effect? Yes, as soon as I finish the stream, the live is always up and ready for you to watch the replay. Alright, so that's what's going on. Let's talk about some individual stocks right now. Let's start off with the swings. Outside of premium, there's really not many ongoing swings right now because most of them already hit their targets. But we do have a couple. We have Fisker, which has been an ongoing swing for a very long time. I've been keeping a very, very close eye on this. I personally got into calls on Fisker yesterday, the same calls I alerted the day before yesterday, which we can look at right now. Let's go over here. And these were the calls. So I did say the day that I alerted them, which was Monday. I didn't have a position then, but I was looking into getting into them on Tuesday, which I did yesterday. I think I was up like 20-something% this morning, but Fisker pulled back a little bit. So like right now, I'm about flat on those Fisker calls. But yeah, they did dip quite a bit because yesterday morning was really rough for Fisker, but it had a nice bounce back. So we'll see. Those expire next week. But yeah, why am I looking at all this? What am I looking at on Fisker? Well, first of all, you've been in this range between 650 and 870 for a long time. You're continuing to test a breakout of this range on the daily, but if we go over to the 4-hour chart now, you can see this wedge you actually broke out of. You've been starting to create an uptrend since breaking out of that wedge, and if we really look at what's happening right now on the 4-hour, look at these lows, look at these highs, you're testing a breakout of that $8 level. 870 is the larger level on the daily, but on lower time frames, $8 is also an important level. On the 1-hour chart, you've got this hidden bullish divergence and a bull flag to maybe help you break above this resistance zone. And then on even lower time frames, you've got a cup and handle. So a lot of different variables coming together, pretty high short interest. A lot of the times when we got up to the top of this range, we didn't really have many variables to help us get across the line, the finish line. I don't know how you want to call it, but like right now you kind of do. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this. There's no certainty that it breaks out, but the variables are there. Hopefully they help out. And then yesterday I alerted CLOV as a swing trade for the first time in a very long time. Currently it's up about 3% since then. I also did get into CLOV calls as well. Those are pretty much flat too. But what am I watching here? A potential inverse head and shoulders. I'm going to be honest, the MACD is not looking too hot, but this is why the stop is right over here. If it fails, if this inverse head and shoulders fails, the stop is right under the right shoulder. It gets stopped out. It is what it is. But you do have that developing. I like this price action. You have some hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour RSI. if you really zoom in here, you're making slightly higher lows leading up into that neckline of the inverse head and shoulders. And then what kind of sealed the deal for me was this 1 hour wedge that you broke out of. And literally as we are speaking, you're starting to see it move out of it. Pretty good price action. It's flat on the day right now, but off the lows it put in yesterday morning, it's up about 7%. So as long as it can continue to hold this zone over here, which it is doing, and it just kind of created a bull flag just above and broke out of it, the variables look pretty nice to me. We will see if they play out. They might not. But right now getting a pretty good move intraday for both Fisker and CLOV. Then we had the AMC swing, which I think hit the target 1 or 2 days, or actually 2 targets 1 or 2 days after I alerted it. But yeah, I mean, what else do you want? I alerted this like last week, probably on last Wednesday. Let me just fact check that. AMC first was Wednesday. So I alerted this literally on last Wednesday, and you can see within a few days it hit 2 targets, 32% boom, and it didn't hit the final 2 targets. We will see if it does or if it doesn't, but it literally went straight up to the second target. That's why the target was there, $7.30. You can see it right now. The day that I posted the swing, right? The same day I posted the swing, that $7.30 level was right over here. And it literally went from the entry right up to that first resistance, hit 2 targets, and now it's pulled back. And it's kind of filling this gap from the gap up last Thursday. Currently still above major support, still broken out of the wedge, but a little bit of a pullback, rough pullback over the last couple of days. We've got AMD as well, which is hanging around the second target of the swing. There's really not much to update here. It's just taking it level by level for right now. We've got the X swing, which pretty much tapped the first target on earnings and then pulled back down. It's still in profit, but at least one of the targets hit. And then finally Roblox. Again, pretty much all these hit their targets except for Fisker and CLOV. Roblox hit the first target at highs, was up 22%. It's currently up about 13% and is back testing the breakout of this downsloping channel. So that is what's going on with the swings as of right now. Nothing too crazy. Let's head back to see what the market's doing intraday. Let's go to the 15-minute chart first. And it just looks like you're consolidating, nothing much. I mean, this maybe has a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders look to it, I guess. Let's go see how that bear flag's looking. Kind of the same thing. It's like you broke down, went down a little bit, and then since you broke down, you've just been back testing that previous demand line as a supply line for the SPY. For the Qs, kind of the same thing, maybe trying to get back above it. So I'm just going to remove this right now. You're just kind of going sideways intraday. That's kind of what's happening, really. Apart from the swings, Tesla's been continuing to go crazy. Let's go over to the 1 hour chart. I have a little bit of a rising wedge drawn out over here. Maybe classic bearish divergence also starts to develop over the next couple of days on both oscillators. So maybe it has a little bit more room, because I know on the lower time frames it did just break out of this ascending triangle. I think Chad has shared this in chat as well. So it actually broke out and back tested the breakout and then is now moving higher. So maybe it has a little bit more room, but I think that maybe it gets closer towards the top of this wedge, some classic bearish divergence. It might be due for a pullback after a very significant run over the past month. And even 207 is a pretty big level of resistance. It was a major low from last May and also July of 2021. If that does somehow break, then you've got the 200-day moving average around 226 for Tesla. Apple is above the 200-day moving average. It's had a pretty nice move after breaking out of that wedge. I think the clear level here is 150. A lot of highs and lows here as well from the past. As long as you can hold that, I guess it's okay. And then you've started to develop a little bit of resistance around 157. You can see there are some highs here from the past as well. And it was your high last Friday. Amazon hit both targets of the swing and has been pulling back since tapping the 200-day moving average. This zone is very important, this blue zone over here. Very important. It's back under it. You really want to see Amazon reclaim that if you're bullish on it. We already looked at Google. I think Disney reports today after the close. So obviously there's not much to talk about on the chart. It just depends on how the earnings go. But I mean, really, since this like wedge / channel breakout back in the beginning of the year, it's been a very nice run for Disney. In terms of like big levels, I guess I could chart out a few. I'd say those are like the bigger levels that are close to the current price, some highs and lows there historically. So we will see what happens. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce in the market right now. Zoom in. SPY starting to move higher. It's kind of like a little bit of a higher low double bottom, which is not bad. I could also draw out this supply line. It's a little bit like a dragon pattern where you have that supply line you're breaking out of with this higher low double bottom. But this area right over here is going to be a resistance. Right at that VWAP until these highs over here. So you're running into a little bit of resistance here. We'll see how it reacts to that. Dustin says, can you look at coin? We can. Let's just take a look at this for one more second though. It looks like the SPY is getting very close to the VWAP. And then we've got the Qs, same thing over here. It's got the VWAP in a horizontal level around 306.5. It's not there quite yet. So heading into that right now, coin is kind of flat right now. And to me, this looks like a bull flag on the 1 hour chart. Here you go. It's close to testing a breakout. You've also got hidden bullish divergence on both of your oscillators. It did not fill this gap up. I actually had an alert set at that gap fill. Coin did not fill this gap at 66.22 though, so I don't know. Doesn't have to fill it right now, but yeah, those are your levels. Here's another one. Those are your levels on the 4 hour chart, and we'll see how this flag plays out. If it doesn't, then again, you've got that gap fill right over there. Market continuing to move higher off of those afternoon lows. Pretty much testing the VWAP right now. And if you didn't hit the like button, make sure to do so. Hit the subscribe button as well. If you're not in the Discord, it is free to join. There's free and premium. Both the links for those are in the description. These are the last 18 option alerts in premium. It's not going to be like this all the time, but this is how it's been recently. These last 4 over here are just from this week alone. Started off the week with a loss on SPY down 25%, then had GME and AMC. All 3 of these were on Monday, I believe. Both run about 100%, and then today I alerted some QQQ calls earlier that did run about 70%. As you can see over here, I was looking at a little bit of a wedge and a bullish bat, and it made a nice move off of it, went up to about this VWAP, and then kind of pulled back. But it's now heading higher. Oh, actually no. While I was looking at Discord, it's starting to pull back again. But yeah, I was just saying, like, if you were watching the stream 2 minutes ago, it's SPY's heading into this resistance at the VWAP, and you're starting to pull back there. So you were above the supply line. For right now, you're kind of back under it. Pretty interesting area intraday. Right. Let's see if there's anything else. Doing a lot. Bed Bath & Beyond has been getting so. I mean, it's been a very volatile stock, both ways. But it's like goes straight up, goes straight down, goes straight up, goes straight down. It's kind of crazy. I mean, look at how many levels I have. It's just kind of noise at this point with how many ups and downs it has. It's kind of, it literally is crazy. But that is down 14% today. LUMN. I don't know why I remember this, but I remember this from somewhere. Looks like maybe on earnings. It's down about 20%. What is this? SOUN Hound AI is up 16% for whatever reason. Volume has been growing. Just looking at what's kind of moving. Carvana is up 9% today. This actually, if we go into lower time frames, was probably a bull flag that's playing out. Yeah, you had a bull flag, very classic bull flag slash hidden bullish divergence. Broke out of that, like literally right when it broke out. Look at that. That's like as good as it gets. Literally in 1 hour went up 17% right off the breakout. And then a lot of AI action in the market. This ticker is literally named AI. We've talked about this quite a bit on the stream. C3 AI. Up about 5% today. There's not much I can talk. It's just kind of parabolic. There's not much I can talk about right now for this one. It's just kind of parabolic. William's asking for PXMD, which is, I think $3 is kind of a big level. It was in this range. It just broke out of it. It's got another resistance here around 370 to 380-ish, a little bit of a zone. So just kind of like a multi-level range, I guess. But those are your big levels for PXMD. Back over to the SPY. All right. Still just kind of flip-flopping around this VWAP / breakout test at the same time. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways you can view. You can view it like this, which is bullish, then you can just redraw another bear flag like that, which is bearish. I honestly think that this whole entire zone over here between like 411 and like 412.5 is just kind of a chop zone. So I'm waiting for it to kind of break out of that in either direction. Not much to really talk about there. Yeah, we can take a look at Palantir. It broke out of this wedge, also broke above the $8 resistance. Now it's just testing a breakout of the 200-day moving average. Here are your next levels. Those are the bigger levels. There's also a gap fill around like just under $11 for Palantir. Let's take a look at the VIX intraday. Looks like it's putting a slightly lower high. That's pretty much about it. If it breaks under this, then it could set up for like a bat action magnet move, which would look like this. Pretty much to over there. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can look at the SPY intraday right now. This triangle is another way. Again, when you have so many different potential scenarios, I just drop the larger range, see where the top of the price action is, the bottom of it, and then just wait till it breaks in either direction. No point in just like staring at it, trying to think about it in 20 different ways. Just wait to see what the price action is. Let's take a look at AMC intraday. It's down 9%. I believe I alerted AMC calls like over here on Monday, which doubled pretty nicely. But after that, it's been a horrible run for AMC. I don't like how it's back under this 582. It even broke under it and then flipped it back into a resistance over here. That is a pretty historical level. Is it still above this demand line though? It is getting close to this trend line. It's like a larger channel over here. This probably look a lot simpler on like the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart. But it's back under that for right now. This could actually be a bearish shark in development. I mean a bullish shark in development, but in a bearish wave of it. And if you're confused by all these little things I'm drawing, there's a free course in the description where I do talk about harmonics. We will see. About to close this 5-minute candle. Could be a bearish engulfing. Let's see how the next minute goes. The area is looking at an inverse head and shoulders on the 5-minute. Not really seeing that. I'm not sure like how you're looking at it, but I don't really see that because I just see these two lows. Like if you had like a shoulder like over here too, then I would see it. But I really wouldn't consider like this a shoulder either. To me, it's just like a slightly higher low double bottom. And it just is retesting the VWAP as resistance. It's tough sometimes, especially in the afternoon session, to break above the VWAP on a red day when volume is low, you know, regardless of whatever variables you have. And then vice versa, like on a green day, it's hard to break under the VWAP when volume is low. And especially in the afternoon session, it's just a lot of drier price action than like the morning. But yeah, pretty simple day, I guess. But there were some nice moves in between. Alright, so just watching this pullback continue. Close that candle as a bearish engulfing on the SPY. Same thing for the Qs. Maybe like a new little, like very small, like micro bear flag developing and breaking down, just like this little price action. Again, there's really no point in talking about every single little move unless you're scalping, which I'm not currently doing right now. Tesla, I think, is still moving higher though. Yeah, it's pretty close to high of day. Very nice back test of this previous resistance. Nice break, hook, and go there. Even double bottomed off of it too. Somebody's asking, let's see, Mara. I don't really know. It's just kind of testing this 717 level. It's just at a make or break area. There's not much, I don't see much of a pattern or anything. I guess like on the far, you could draw like a wedge over here or something and see how that goes. All right, moving a little bit lower on the SPY right now after that VWAP rejection. RNG pretty much tapped the 200-day moving average. The big level here is 42.33, was resistance twice here. It just flipped into a support yesterday, so that's your support. It was even a gap fill too from the gap up last Thursday. It's just sandwiched in between that support level and the 200-day moving average for right now. What else? Drop in the chat right now. Here, actually, no, actually, I was gonna make a poll, but I want to see more chats. Drop in the chat right now if for the rest of the week, I'm not asking about for the next 2 months, I'm not asking about for the next 10 minutes, just for the rest of the week, whether you are bullish, bearish, or neutral. If you watched the beginning of the stream, I talked about how we're just in this like inflection area, so I'm just kind of neutral. I'm just waiting to see which way we break. But drop in the chat right now whether you are bullish, bearish, or neutral for the rest of this week. Okay. I'm not really doing too much with the market right now. I mean, I did trade. I think I traded SPY calls earlier, and I'm swinging some other options, but nothing too much apart from that right now. So go ahead, drop it in the chat, and we'll leave on that note. Continuing to pull back a little bit on SPY after that VWAP rejection. And this is bearish. Clovis bearish too. Nerve bearish too. We got a whole chat of bears in here. Wow. Wow, Kareem too. The whole squad is bearish right now. That's crazy. AK is neutral, same as me. Frank is neutral, same as me. Again, I do not care who's right or wrong at all. Just whatever you feel is whatever you feel. This is not a community where it's like we like shun the people that are wrong and then praise the people that are right. It's really like everybody's going to be right and wrong at some point. And as long as you're managing your risk, you just do your best. That's really it. And then Clovis said bearish based on fundamentals. All right, so solid stream. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, check out the links in the description for the free course, Discord Premium, my other socials, all that good stuff. If you're new to the stream, subscribe. I want to hit 4K subs this month. I know I haven't even streamed in a week, so it's like it's probably on me at this point. But we're gonna all try our best, okay? And that's gonna be it. See you tomorrow on the stream. Peace out.
fun today?
Uh-huh.
What did you do?
Oh, things.